Hey everybody, welcome to the Last Word channel. Today we're going to talk about the Civil War, not the 1860 version of it, all of that, but a new one that might be brewing with the new election coming up and the way the political landscape looks. We have to discuss the possibilities of violence and widespread violence and how it might be caused, what are the driving factors of the anger between the two sides. We'll discuss all of that in today's video. Stay tuned. Alright, here we are at the website, and this is at Quora. I'll leave you a link in the description. This is pretty crazy stuff here, what the guy is saying. We'll just take a look. Like right over here. This is where I'm at. See, on this map, the liberals are red. So you can see that most of the country, except for some of the more heavily populated areas, are going to be conservatives. So that's how the numbers boil down. So the guy says if we had a civil war in the United States today, it would get ugly. Very, very ugly. We're talking about many, many factions. Foreign intervention, brutality, rape, murder, torture, all of it over huge areas of the U.S. The dividing lines of today are politics, not allegiance to individual states, and not slavery. There's no point in adding those to a scenario. And in most of the country, it looks like this. I don't know. I think you could add that to a scenario. There will be some racial divisions. I mean, even if they're on the same side, there might be some segregation. There is in the population in peacetime. So you'll see some kind of segregation on some level along race and religious lines and stuff. But basically, it looks like it's going to be freedom versus communism. I mean, the geographic areas don't bode well for the liberals that would be just basically blockaded inside the cities with no resources coming in and out, because that would be coming in and out of the areas and using the infrastructure that the conservatives would have control over. Yeah, California would have very short supply lines, and the opposition would be crossing deserts and mountains to get there. Yeah, it wouldn't be nice. The most politically homogeneous area in the U.S., conservatives are outnumbered around 3-1, is also the best protected by mountain ranges. That would be California, Oregon, and Washington, and probably Nevada. Not only is California huge, but it would have access to foreign recruits from Latin America and may be backed by China as well. Conservatives don't have a great reputation in the rest of the world, and in a civil war, this is going to matter a lot. What about your propaganda BS, right? Oh, conservatives ain't popular in the rest of the world. Huh? Tell Theresa May that. It looks like Nigel Farage or maybe Tommy Robinson. They're the people that are coming up in politics over there. And it's conservatives everywhere. So this is just an outdated website, I would imagine. I looked at this probably a year ago. So yeah, I just wanted to basically point out some of the demographics of a map. You see, there we go. There's one that you might recognize. that pretty much is the electoral results right here. This pixelated map right here, and that right there shows you. I mean, yeah, they'd have access to foreign ports, and yeah, maybe they could run a pincher tactic on the central part of the U.S. But we also got a lot of support, conservative support, coming down out of Canada, and that would give us a little bit more breathing room for any kind of a pincher maneuver, because you can see if this was a game of Risk, the risk to the red being posed right here by the blue. See, so I don't know. Then you got to look at what's going on the ground. Who who has the upper hand? Who's the one that's going to, just in a general bet, my money's on a conservative in a street fight or a gunfight or any kind of a fight. So, there's that. That's going to be a very big factor to it, too. Here's the state governors after the 2016 elections. See, that didn't bode well for the left, did it? Now you see why they're trying to change the popular vote. Because most of the country's red. The liberals are just concentrated up in a bunch of little hellholes that they created. So they want to branch out. But they'll lose some of these strongholds if they do that. They basically want to go ruin conservative areas. But they don't want to lose their strongholds. So they want to kill the electoral college so they can just go wherever they want and vote. So that, all of the conservative towns would be flooded by this. I think liberals moving into your town is just as bad as, Muslim migrants or illegal immigrants from south of the border. I don't really see much difference. The result for your city is about the same. So yeah, my money's on the conservatives. And maybe we can discuss some of the details, some of the more nuanced factors to what I think would be, contributing to a civil war. Yeah, with more war seeming more and more likely, and the U.S. military begins to see a new influx of recruitment. Meanwhile, the NAU recruits its own military, partially out of the National Guard, but also purchasing military supplies from whoever it can, namely Russia and Chinese surplus through Mexico. I did that story about Antifa. Those would be the opposition inside our country, getting ready to go to war with us, pretty much. I mean, that's how things are going right now. You can't really deny that we're at a political impasse at this point. So I just thought I'd post this website here and we'd go over it. You can look at how the population lays out on the country. And if we were to divide up battle lines, that's about what they would be, because there's no bigger issue than politics, such as like religion or slavery, like the guy said in the beginning of the article. So, scroll through this a little bit. So if you want to pause it and read something, go ahead. I just picked out a couple of things that look. The conservatives take over California. Yeah, I don't know if any of y'all heard of Paul Preston or, Grindall. That guy. I think his name is, it doesn't matter. I ain't going to put somebody on blast. But they're fighting pretty good, and conservatives are doing pretty well in California, even though they can't, win Los Angeles or something. But there's a lot of conservative areas in California. What is this? Okay, so that's about it. We'll just go back and we'll discuss this. I don't know what that's all about. It's like from a dystopian movie or something. Okay. Well, there you have it. The What happens if there's a Civil War website. Pretty cool. Okay, that was a crazy website, right? So this, I don't know what's up with this website. If this guy's like serious or what, but I just thought it showed a lot of good photos and demographic layouts of the political landscape across the country and where the strongholds are for different factions in a possible civil war scenario. I don't advocate violence. I think it would probably be a living nightmare, like the guy said. You know, like the song says, I don't need your damn civil war, right? I mean, but what's going on is in politics today, there are irreconcilable differences. And it's not like they're bucking heads in a normal, like a gridlock scenario where one side wants this, the other side wants that, and nobody's going to budge. It's even worse. If they don't get what they want, they go further to their corner. So we got the right's getting further right, and the left is getting further left. In the center is a kill zone. Anybody steps into it, they're dead politically. That's what's been happening. Anybody steps out of the party line into that center kill zone, it's like the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea. Boy, you step in there, you're going to take some fire. Well, that's what's been happening with the politics. There's a big wide center between the two factions, and anybody goes in wandering in there at all, they get shot down by one side or the other, and they get shot at by both sides. So there's that. The way that translates on the street is there's a lot of hate going on out here. I'm sure I've mentioned the bike locks and the bricks and the bottles of feces and urine being thrown on people. And yeah, most of it is attacks on conservatives that are advocated by liberal political leaders. They're basically telling them to go do this stuff. And then they come yelling at us about dog whistles. I wish the conservatives would grow a pair, fight back. I mean, but out here, like Bongino's Joey Bag of Donuts, we're ready to fight out here. Like, I mean, if it comes to that, the one thing conservatives do is they're like Boy Scouts. They want to be ready. So I'm sure that in any kind of a real war scenario, I think it'll be the conservatives that would come out on top. I mean, just out of logic, right? What are they going to do? They don't have any guns, and they think the government would turn against because that's one of the comments I always hear about the Civil War or any kind of like prepping or Second Amendment. When it comes down to defending yourself against the government, they're like, oh, well, they got, helicopters and bombs, and they'll just come blast you out of your stupid bunker with all of your ammo and your food. And yeah, that's pretty much true. They could do that. But the thing is, would they? And I'd say probably not, because the enemy of our military will be the guys dressed in black running around setting stuff on fire. I hope the liberals get that. They don't seem to. They think they can sick the military on someone. I don't think they can. The military doesn't think they can. So let's just get that part out of the scenario. That the military, I mean, I know for sure Trump has the Marine Corps. Not real sure about the Navy. I know the Air Force and the Army are not really down with the Trump train. But they do what they got to do, excuse me. He is their commander-in-chief, so hopefully they got the honor they're supposed to have. But anyhow, back to the streets. The purge. Oh, that's what they're preparing us for, right? We got like the Captain America and all this other Civil War comic stuff. I don't watch any of that crap. They're trying to ruin superheroes that I remember when I was a kid. That's all they're trying to do. But scenario is like the purge. It's not like there's going to be giant organized factions of liberals and giant organized factions of conservatives. Oh, well, wait, the conservatives are doing that. But in general, there's not going to be organized military forces bucking heads with each other. It's going to be rioting on the streets and crimes of opportunity, you know, a lot of mayhem. A lot of people just taking advantage of the situation because they got pent up bad guy stuff to do in the first place. So, you know, you got that. But all in all, I do think we are headed to some kind of widespread violence in the United States. And I think that there's a lot of indicators, like south of the border. You can see it. And in the rhetoric and in the positioning of other countries, the superpowers, China and Russia especially. I mean, we'll just say that coincidentally, if some kind of chaos erupted in America, they'd be right there, ready to step right in. So it's not just us seeing a civil war might be coming. Other people do too, the rest of the world. They see America heading in a real scary direction, and it's scary for the whole world when America is in strife. We bring down the whole world's economy and everybody starves. So there's that. But yeah, violence is coming to America, one way or another. And I suggest that you should prepare yourself for it. Not prepare yourself to commit violence, but you have to fight fire with fire. And we all have to prepare to defend ourselves. So hey, thank you for watching my video today. Please like, subscribe, share. If you're inclined to donate, you can do that too. It's all in the description. Thank you very much.